In this video, we'll be going over IRS Notice CP114. This is the tax notice that you might receive from the Internal Revenue Service if you filed IRS Form 720 and there was a mistake on it that the IRS believed you made a miscalculation or some other error that resulted in a net refund to you. So let's take a quick look at what Form 720 is. That's the quarterly federal excise tax return. So this can be on a variety of different types of excise taxes, from environmental and fuel taxes to manufacturers taxes. So anything and everything that warrants an excise tax goes on IRS Form 720. And then if you made a math mistake or if you made a miscalculation on this notice, this example, the reason says tax deposits. So you might receive this notice and resulting in a refund. So let's take a quick look at the top right corner. So you see the notice number, CP114. The tax period is the period ending December 31st, 2017. The notice date was issued January 8th, 2018. So I always tell people to pay very close attention to the notice date. Usually if there's something that you need to do, the IRS will tell you what you need to do and they'll give you a time frame. And sometimes that time frame is a specific date, like please respond by January 31st of whatever the year is. Sometimes you might see please respond within 60 days of the notice date. So, keep that in mind as you're going through the notice. Keep a watchful eye out for any due dates or action items that are tied to the notice date. So there's the employer identification number as well as a contact phone number. Over here on the left-hand side of the form is your taxpayer name and address. In this case, it's XYZ, it's ABC XYZ Company, 22 Boulder Street in Hanson, Connecticut. So I always tell people to keep your address up to date with the IRS so that if you do receive a tax notice, it comes straight to you and it doesn't go to your old address. Sometimes you might have a tight timeline of responding and every day counts. So you want to make sure that if you receive a notice that you are able to respond in a prompt manner. And to do that, you want to minimize the amount of time that notice spends in the mail system. So you can change your address with the IRS in one of three ways. You can file your tax return. That automatically prompts the IRS to change your tax record to reflect your new address. You can call the IRS, validate your identity, and then change your address over the phone. Or you can file either IRS Form 8822 or 8822B-B. That's the official IRS change form for individual taxpayers and business taxpayers, respectively. Let's take a closer look at what this notice is telling us. So on the left-hand side, it basically says we made some changes because you made some miscalculations to your tax deposits, and as a result, you're due a refund of $8,592.51. And it breaks down like this. You made $10,000 of payments on an estimated tax that you owed of about $1,000. Then there's a failure to pay, a failure to file, penalty, interest, and then credit interest on your refunds. So we'll take a closer look at those details. At the bottom of this page one is a little contact information slip. You can cut this out if you choose to send any written correspondence to the IRS. Be sure to follow the instructions by including your employer ID number, the tax period, and your tax form on the correspondence itself, as well as, if you want the IRS to call, please, indicate your preferred phone numbers and times. So now this is what you need to do. You either agree or you don't agree with the changes. So if you agree with the changes, you just keep this notice. You should receive your refund check within 4 to 6 weeks. If you owed any other taxes or debts, then the IRS may apply your refund to those other taxes or debts. So your refund check might reflect that. If you haven't received your refund within 4 to 6 weeks, you can follow up with the IRS. You can go to the IRS website. There is a Where's My Refund page. You can look up the status of your refund that way, or you can file IRS form 3911. That's the, hold on just a second. That's the taxpayer inquiry form for your tax refund. So you can file that form. We'll put links in the show notes to all the forms and to the videos and articles we've created about the forms in question. So if you don't agree with the changes, then you would call the 800 number, contact the IRS. You would go over your account information and then determine your next steps from there. So if you don't do anything, then the IRS is just going to assume that you agree with the information in this notice. And at least in this example, they'll just proceed in issuing the refund and assume that it's fine. So let's see. The IRS says, we found an error in the deposit or in the amount reported as a federal tax deposit. So the tax calculations happen to be $900 before claims. Then there was a claim from Schedule C. So total taxes after your claims is $999.74. There's your total tax deposits plus an overpayment from previous quarters plus other credits and payments totaling $10,000. This is the schedule of deposits and payments that were applied to your tax record. So there is a failure to pay penalty here. This just appears to be a placeholder. I don't believe that there would be an actual penalty with such a large refund due, specifically because the penalty is applied for payments that are late, right? So any the net unpaid tax at the beginning of each penalty month. So this appears to be a placeholder because if you paid $10,000 towards $999 of taxes and you paid all of that let's see. It appears that this was for your tax period ending December 31st, 2017. So, so this appears to be an error that was reported in your 2015 tax return with an overpayment that was applied to your 2017 taxes. So basically, I don't see why there would be a late payment or a failure to pay or a failure to file penalty when it appears that the tax had been paid throughout the year. So I think this is just a placeholder. There's a similar placeholder for failure to file. If you actually saw penalties and you wanted the IRS to remove them, you can have that conversation, either extenuating circumstances, reasonable cause, or if you specifically requested written advice from the IRS, you gave the IRS complete, accurate, and adequate information, you received written advice from the IRS, which you relied upon for your tax return, and then you later were penalized, you can file IRS Form 843 to request a refund or an abatement of your penalty. Interest charges. This is interest that was calculated on the outstanding penalty and tax that was calculated. If you have penalties abated or removed, Usually the IRS will recalculate to take out the associated interest. And so we're at the end of this tax notice. Let's take a quick look at the website page that says page not found. So this does happen from time to time, that the URL doesn't seem to work for some reason. So I always try to test that in these videos. And it looks like you have more than enough guidance in this notice to take the right action. So that's all we have for this video. As I mentioned, we'll put links in the show notes to the resources we've created about articles or about forms. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments, or if there's a topic that you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.